unpack this. Imagine a cryptocurrency that's feeless, instant, and claims to be rich in potassium.
Yeah.
And no, we're not talking about your morning banana smoothie. But here's where it gets really interesting. This playful, meme-driven coin, it's also actively contributing massive computing power to scientific research.
Right. Research that fights diseases like Alzheimer's and COVID-19.
Exactly. So today, we're doing a deep dive into Banano.
Indeed. And we'll be pulling insights from some foundational research papers on its predecessor, Nano, plus, fascinating discussions from various online communities, crypto analysis, platforms, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission, really, is to understand what Banano actually is, where it fits in the broader crypto space, and what makes its community so, special and, frankly, quite unique.
Exactly. So for anyone listening, if you're looking to quickly get informed on this intriguing project, this is your shortcut. You'll get the surprising facts, the aha moments, and hopefully maybe a new perspective on what crypto can be, all without being overwhelmed by, jargon.
We'll try our best.
Okay, but before we dive deeper, just a quick but crucial note from us here at the Crypto Visionary Network. The information we're sharing today, it's gathered from various internet sources.
That's right.
And while we've done our best to, distill it, cryptocurrency markets are dynamic. They're highly volatile.
Very much so.
Always remember, that information you find online, it might not always be accurate.
Yeah.
And nothing in this deep dive should be considered financial or investment advice.
Definitely not. Always seek independent professional consultation before making any investment decisions.
Your diligence is absolutely key in this space.
Okay.
So let's start at the beginning then. What exactly is Banano? How did this potassium-powered project even come about?
Well, at its core, Banano is a fork of Nano. And, many in the crypto space might remember Nano was originally called Ray Blocks.
Oh, right, Ray Blocks. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So Banano emerged from a pretty tumultuous time in early 2018, specifically February. This was right after Nano had those significant issues from the infamous BitGrail exchange hack.
Oof, yeah, that was messy.
It was. So in the aftermath, two users, known as Cephs and RQ, they decided to take Nano's open source code and, create something new.
Okay.
They made some key changes like adjusting the total maximum supply, slightly lowering the proof of work threshold, which we can probably talk more about later, and changing the address prefixes to ban. Simple things, but, And then they launched it on April 1st, 2018.
April Fool's Day. Seriously.
Yeah, playfully calling it a reverse April Fool's coin.
Huh. And it absolutely leaned into that playful meme identity, didn't it? I've seen the slogans like, not a shitcoin until digested,
right,
and the whole rich in potassium vibe. It sounds like a joke, but it's clearly much more than just humor, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's the fascinating paradox of Banano. While it ironically self-identifies with humor, calls itself a shitcoin sometimes, the developers had a really serious underlying goal to create a genuinely high-quality user experience, something that could even rival projects with, multi-billion-dollar valuations.
Really? In terms of user experience?
Yeah, in terms of wallet functionality, just the overall feel. They intentionally bucked typical crypto trends. Yeah. They focused on free distribution.
Instead of ICOs.
Exactly. No initial coin offerings where projects sell tokens to raise funds. And instead of chasing Lambos, the crypto slang for quick riches and fancy cars.
Yeah, the Lambos.
They fostered this culture of genuine giving and community building. It's quite different.
So just to clarify for you listening, Banano is its own distinct network. It's not just a token built on, say, Ethereum or something.
Correct. It's its own layer one, its own protocol.
And its foundational promise is truly feeless and instant transactions. That's a huge claim in the crypto world.
It is.
What about its environmental footprint, especially when you compare it to something massive like Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's a critical distinction, and really a key part of its appeal for many. Banano, like Nano, which it came from, is not a proof-of-work coin in the traditional sense.
Okay, so no mining like Bitcoin.
Right. It doesn't require that energy-intensive mining process to secure the network. Bitcoin, consumes an estimated, 27.28 terawatt hours per year, which is like
a small country's worth of power.
Exactly. Banano's consensus mechanism doesn't rely on that kind of competitive computation. So this makes Banano inherently far, far more energy efficient.
That's a big deal.
It is, especially with all the environmental concerns around crypto right now.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for me. How does Banano actually achieve that feeless and instant nature? What's the tech underneath this directed acyclic graph, or DAG, thing?
Oh.
What does that even mean for you as a user?
Right. So what's truly fascinating here is that DAG-based cryptocurrencies, they completely break from the traditional blockchain model, the linear chain most people think of.
Like Bitcoin's chain, one block after another.
Precisely. Imagine that blockchain as a single, never-ending list. Each new block waits for the previous one. With a DAG, it's more like a constantly expanding web of individual transactions.
Oh, web.
Yeah. Instead of blocks linked sequentially, transactions are represented as nodes in this graph with directed edges connecting them. This architecture allows each new transaction to validate only a small number of previous ones, not the whole chain history.
Ah, I see. So it's not checking everything that came before.
Exactly. It's more distributed validation, and that leads to significantly faster and more efficient transactions because there's just less overhead, less waiting in line, basically.
So if I'm getting this right, it's like parallel processing instead of doing things one by one. Less overhead, much faster.
You got it. And Nano pioneered a specific type of DAG called the block lattice, which Banano then inherited.
The block lat. Okay, can you break that down? Like really explain its ingenuity.
Sure. The block lattice architecture, it's quite clever. Think of it like this. Instead of one massive public ledger that everyone writes to. Right.
In a block lattice, each individual account has its own personal blockchain, its own transaction history.
Wait, each account has its own blockchain?
Yeah. That's the key design component. It means you, as a user, can update your own chain asynchronously. You don't have to wait for the rest of the network.
Wow, okay. That's different.
It's a radical departure, right?
Yeah.
And it results in near-instant transaction speeds and minimal overhead. Transactions themselves are also structured a bit differently. They primarily track account balances rather than the specific amounts sent in each transaction.
How does that help?
Well, it allows for aggressive database pruning, basically cleaning up old data really efficiently without compromising security. And it helps a lot with processing high volumes of blocks. You control your own chain by signing your blocks. It turns a shared data structure into lots of personal, highly efficient ones.
That is quite a departure from regular blockchains. So, okay, walk me through this. If I wanted to send some Banano to, say, a friend, how does that actually work with this system? Right. So a transfer of funds, maybe surprisingly, requires two separate transactions.
Two. Oh,
First, there's a send block on your account chain. That deducts the amount you're sending.
makes sense.
Second, there's a receive block on your friend's account chain, which adds that amount to their balance. Both of these blocks have to be signed by the respective account owner.
So I sign mine, they sign theirs.
Exactly. You sign your send block, broadcast it, then your friend signs their receive block. Once their receive block is created and broadcasted, the funds are officially moved. The system verifies the balance changes on both ends, and it's remarkably quick.
Okay, but this raises an important question. It comes up with any distributed ledger, right?
Yeah.
What happens if there's a conflict, like a fork in one of these individual account chains? If my personal chain somehow gets, I don't know, duplicated or someone tries to mess with it.
That's a critical point.
Yeah.
So forks happen when multiple signed blocks claim the same previous block as their predecessor. Now, since only the account owner can sign blocks on their chain, a fork is usually either due to, like, bad programming or, more maliciously, an attempt at a double spend.
Trying to spend the same money twice.
Yeah, exactly. So the network resolves this through a balance-weighted voting system. This is where representatives come in.
Representatives?
Yeah, these are nodes that users delegate their vote weight to.
Yeah.
A representative's vote weight is simply the sum of all the Banano balances of the accounts that have chosen them.
Okay, so more Banano delegated means more voting power.
Precisely. When a conflict, a fork, arises, these representatives vote on the conflicting blocks. The block that quickly gets a majority of the votes is confirmed, and the others are just discarded. The system is designed to settle these forks incredibly fast, often within seconds.
Wow, seconds.
Yeah. And what's also key is, even if a fork occurs, only the accounts directly involved are affected. The rest of the network just keeps humming along, processing transactions without interruption.
That sounds incredibly robust. And it seems like it sidesteps some common attack vectors we hear about. Like, what about Sybil attacks? You know, where someone tries to flood the network with fake identities.
Right.
Or those penny spend attacks, where they send tiny amounts everywhere to bloat the network.
You're right. The design addresses those directly. The balance-weighted voting, it pretty much kills Sybil attacks. Adding more nodes or fake identities, it doesn't get an attack or extra votes.
Because votes are based on Banano held, not nodes run.
Exactly. Your voting power comes from the Banano you hold or are delegated. No advantage to creating hundreds of nodes on one machine.
Makes sense. And the penny spending.
For penny spend attacks, where, yeah, someone might try to send tiny dust amounts to millions of accounts just to overwhelm things. Banano uses a local proof-of-work rate-limiting mechanism.
Local POW. So not like Bitcoin mining POW.
No, totally different scale. It means users have to generate a very small, quick proof of work for each transaction. It's almost instant for a real user, but it makes spamming computationally expensive.
Ah, like a tiny speed bump for each transaction.
Kind of, yeah. Enough to deter mass spam. Plus, the minimal storage space needed per account, only 128 bytes, makes it really hard and expensive to just bloat the network with millions of tiny accounts. 1 gigabyte could hold maybe 8 million accounts, but the POW requirement makes that impractical fast.
Okay, the tech is genuinely interesting. But beyond that, there's this other aspect of Banano's efficiency and, purpose that really sets it apart. Folding at home. This isn't just about sending coins around, is it?
No, it's not. And this is truly unique, probably one of Banano's most compelling features. Instead of traditional energy-guzzling mining,
Yeah.
Banano integrates seamlessly with folding at home, or F at H. Have you heard of it?
I think so. It's like distributed computing for science.
Exactly. F at H is a project where users contribute their idle CPU and GPU power from their computers to help scientists run incredibly complex simulations of protein folding.
Protein folding. Okay, why is that important?
These simulations are crucial for understanding how diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cancer, even COVID-19, how they develop at a molecular level. And it helps design new drugs.
Wow.
And here's the Banano part. In return for contributing your computer's power to this valuable scientific work, you earn Banano.
You earn Banano for helping science.
Yes. And the Banano team, the community effort, has actually become the #1 contributor on the entire Folding at Home global leaderboard, consistently.
Number one, out of everyone.
Yep. It demonstrates this direct, socially beneficial use case for crypto that actively helps the world. It's a remarkable way to earn crypto while, actually contributing to a global scientific effort.
So it's literally a crypto project that's fighting disease.
Yeah.
That's a huge shift from the usual crypto stories we hear.
It really is.
Okay, moving beyond the tech, which is fascinating, the Banano community. It's often highlighted as one of its strongest features, maybe even its heart. What makes it so special? How does it embody that giving, not Lambo's philosophy you mentioned?
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the community is absolutely central to Banano's identity. And its success, arguably, it's built on this foundation of generosity and lightheartedness. Their explicit focus is on giving rather than Lambo's free distribution rather than ICOs, and that has genuinely fostered this uniquely active and passionate user base. You see it on Reddit, Discord, Telegram, Twitter.
So it actually works. People are generous.
It really seems to. It creates this vibrant, almost family-like atmosphere. New members often get welcomed with free Banano, actual tips, and just genuine enthusiasm. It's refreshing.
So it's really about sharing, engagement, and even fun, rather than just raw speculation and price charts.
Precisely. The micro-tipping culture is a perfect example of this ethos in action. They have a dedicated Banano tip bot on Reddit.
Tip bot?
Yeah, it lets users easily tip each other Banano for, good content, helpful advice, funny memes, or sometimes just to spread some potassium and good vibes.
Ah, spread the potassium. I like it.
Yeah. And we even saw an instance recently where, a representative from the Exodus Wallet team, they were just engaging positively in the Banano subreddit. And people started tipping them just for being helpful and part of the conversation.
In the end.
Yeah, it highlights how deeply ingrained that generosity is. It's quite different from a lot of the crypto space where the focus can be almost purely financial.
Okay, and beyond tipping, what are some of the other community-driven things, initiatives that really use Banano's fearless and instant nature?
Oh, there are loads, and they keep popping up. For new users, they have various faucets.
Faucets, like free crypto.
Yeah, small amounts to get started. You can get free Banano just by participating in little games or tasks. There's the Munkle Faucet game, the Banano stand, things like that.
Ooh.
A really popular, genuinely community-built project is Jungle TV.
Jungle TV? What's that?
It's basically a website where users queue up YouTube videos to watch together, like a shared playlist room. And you earn Banano for participating. for watching.
Seriously. Watch YouTube, earn crypto.
Yep. It's a testament to the community's creativity and, willingness to build fun, engaging platforms. It sometimes has network hiccups like any community project, but its continued operation really shows their dedication.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And they also have their own official wallets like Kilium for mobile, Banano Vault for web, plus these unique collectible monkey avatar designs linked to your address.
Monkeys.
Yeah, little monkey pictures. And developers in the community, they've released open source tools like a JavaScript TypeScript library for building stuff, and they're working on a Banano name system, BNS, to make addresses easier to use, like domain names.
Okay, lots happening.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Banano has also expanded its reach through Wrapped Banano, or WBAN.
Wrapped Banano, like wrapped Bitcoin.
Exactly the same concept. It allows Banano to be used on other blockchains like Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Arbitrum.
So you can use it in DeFi on those chains.
Precisely. It bridges Banano into those bigger DeFi ecosystems while still originating from the Banano network itself.
Okay, despite all this incredible activity, the unique tech, the community, sources mentioned Banano doesn't really do much traditional marketing. Why is that? In a space so driven by hype.
That's a very insightful observation. The community often states quite explicitly that they don't pay for traditional marketing campaigns. They don't engage in pump and dump schemes, trying to artificially inflate the price.
They rely on
Organic growth, genuine community effort, word of mouth, people discovering the project's utility, and honestly, its positive vibe. There's a strong feeling in the community that the broader crypto market is just too often driven by hype and FOMO, that fear of missing out.
Right.
And Banano aims to offer a different model, one focused on the tech, the actual use cases like folding at home, and crucially, its community culture. But yeah, the flip side is...
It stays under the radar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It means it's still a relatively undiscovered gem for many people in the wider crypto landscape.
Okay, so given it embraces that meme token label, even ironically, and relies so heavily on its community for growth and awareness, what are the inherent risks for potential users? What should someone thinking about getting involved understand, maybe from a more cautious perspective?
Right. That raises an important point about volatility and just managing expectations. As a project with that meme token identity, Banano's price can definitely experience significant fluctuations.
Like most crypto, I guess.
Like most crypto, but perhaps even more so sometimes, given the meme association. While the community is strong and it has these practical applications like folding at home, the price can still be heavily influenced by broader market sentiment, maybe even more than some other projects.
So be prepared for swings.
Absolutely. Users should definitely be prepared for potential rapid price swings. And you need to carefully evaluate your personal risk tolerance before, investing significant amounts or actively participating financially.
And general crypto safety.
Crucial. It's vital to remember the security best practices that apply to all cryptocurrencies. Always enable two-factor authentication everywhere you can. Safeguard your recovery phrase, your seed phrase. Keep it offline, somewhere secure. Never ever share it or store it digitally where it could be hacked.
Right. And be wary of scams.
Highly vigilant against phishing attempts, scam links, people trying to trick you into revealing sensitive info. The Banano community itself, to its credit, actively emphasizes these points. They foster a culture of self-custody and security awareness.
Okay, good to know.
Oh.
So we've taken quite a deep dive here into Banano. It's a fork of Nano, built on that interesting DAG block lattice tech.
Right.
Offering feeless and instant transactions. It uniquely folds for science, contributing to vital disease research, which is amazing.
It really is.
And it's backed by this fiercely loyal, meme-loving, and profoundly generous community. That one ban philosophy.
Yeah.
Which means focusing on its inherent value and utility, not just the dollar price. It really seems to capture its spirit, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a fascinating blend. You've got solid underlying technology mixed with this distinct community-driven ethos. It truly differentiates it from so many projects out there that are purely focused on speculative games.
Yeah.
It certainly presents an interesting, maybe even refreshing alternative in the vast and often, let's face it, tumultuous crypto landscape.
Definitely. So for you, the listener, here's maybe a final thought to ponder on. Given Banano's unique approach, prioritizing feeless utility, contributing to social good through folding at home, building genuine community engagement over conventional marketing and price speculation, does it represent a potential blueprint maybe for a more sustainable, more impactful future for cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And could this meme coin, could it truly lead the way in showing that real lasting value can be built not just on groundbreaking tech, but maybe even more so on a vibrant giving and collective community spirit?
Something certainly worth considering. For your next deep dive into the crypto world, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep exploring.